I'm planting the flag right now. The Premier League pecking order just cracked. The mid-table are stealing points like seasoned pickpockets, and Manchester City, they're already easing into the fast lane while everyone else fumbles for the indicator. You can fight the vibe, but you can't fight what we just watched. Crystal Palace bullied Liverpool with structure and smarts. Bournemouth nicked a point at Leeds at the death. Brentford put Manchester United on their back in their own mess after Bruno Fernandes had a second-half penalty saved. And City, almost bored of being efficient, dropped 5 on Burnley. Erling Haaland with 2 late because, of course, and Maxime Esteve living the defender's nightmare with 2 into his own net. That's not noise, that's a pattern. Let's start with Palace, because this wasn't vibes, it was coaching. Match of the Day's Alan Shearer spelled it out. Well coached, well organized, players comfortable in the system. That's the quote. The music behind it is even louder. When your entire 11 knows when to shuffle and when to spring, you don't need 65% possession to beat a giant. You just deny the half spaces, strangle the rhythm, and pick your moments. Palace did exactly that. They refused the track meet. They made Liverpool solve a puzzle, and Liverpool ran out of pieces. Bournemouth, come on, give them their flowers. A week ago, they and Newcastle cancelled each other out with a goalless draw. That's a point against a team that loves to punch you in the mouth. Then they go to Leeds and it's Eli Krupi, stoppage time, equalizer, point rescued. 2 different ways to take something from 2 very different games in 6 days. That's not a bounce. That's a team with late-game belief and a bench still pushing. You can see the internal math. Keep it to 1, keep the legs fresh. Wait for 1 break, 1 loose ball, 1 moment. They're cashing those tickets. And United? That Brentford result tells the other side. Bruno steps up, second half, penalty saved, and instead of that moment flipping the script, Brentford. Mid-table Brentford. Steady themselves and take the win. Listen to the messaging from their opponent's manager across this rocky spell. Never concerned about his job. Not changing formation. Defending his goalkeeper after a mistake earlier in the season. I'm not saying the quote sheet loses the game, but it screams rigidity. If you won't bend, this league will break you. Brentford didn't need 20 chances. They needed clarity and control when it mattered. Meanwhile, City, it's boring how good they are and somehow still fun. 5 past Burnley. Haaland too late because he lives in that last act chaos. And Esteve stuck in the ugliest loop a center back can get trapped in. Unlucky? Maybe in isolation. Zoom out. City squeeze you. They flood the box and they ping crosses and cutbacks until your back line is defending its own net like a fire drill. Own goals happen in that storm because you're sliding, lunging, living on the wrong razor's edge. And when City smell fatigue, they don't just win, they feast. That's separation. That's how a title race cracks open in October. The juggernaut keeps padding the goal difference, while the pack drops points to teams with organization tattoos. So what actually changes on the pitch now? You'll feel it next week. The so-called big boys are going to overcorrect against these organized mid-table blocks. More early width, more first-time crosses to yank the back 4 side to side. More second runners timing cutbacks instead of trying to dribble through a set defense. You'll see a fullback shoved into midfield earlier, or a winger left hugging chalk to pry open the shell. Midfields go from pretty triangles to ugly north-south sprints because there's no room for 4 extra touches when teams are drilled like Palace. And the mid-table? They smell blood. If you're Palace, why change a thing? Keep the compact shape. Keep the traps in the wide channels. Keep 2 outlets high enough that every clearance is a counter threat. Bournemouth will keep the late-game subs primed to run at heavy legs. Krupi just earned himself more late minutes, and everybody in that dressing room knows it. Brentford will keep bullying set-piece moments and jumping your restarts, because if you're sloppy, they can win a match in 5 restart minutes. I can hear the pushback already. Slow down. Own goals are fluky. Bruno scores that pen 8 times out of 10. Late equalizers are coin flips. You're reading too much into a weird weekend. Good argument. Here's why it doesn't hold. Palace's win wasn't a weird bounce. Shearer didn't say lucky. He said well-coached, well-organized, and he pointed to players comfortable in the system. That's repeatable. Bournemouth's last 2 results point the same way. They can sit in for a 0-0 against Newcastle, and they can keep pushing for a 2-2 at Leeds. Different matches, same outcome. Points banked, belief reinforced. That's identity. The United piece isn't about one kick from Bruno. It's about a manager telling you he's not changing formation right after a stretch of flat performances. In this league, if you're predictable, you're dinner. And City's 5 isn't a sugar rush. Haaland's late double and the pressure that forced Esteve's own goals are textbook City. Keep the tempo, keep the box crowded, and eventually your center-backs are playing whack-a-mole. The avalanche is the plan. Stakes then. For Liverpool, you've got to speed up early phase circulation and commit the wide players earlier. If they're still trying to thread the same cute pass into that half space against a low block without extra cutback runners, it's another long afternoon. For United, if the manager won't tweak the shape, the burden shifts to individual execution. More aggressive runs from deep, earlier shots, and a panic button that isn't just give Bruno a set piece. If they default to hopeful crossing, you'll know they're out of ideas. Leeds just learned the late-game lesson. You don't protect a 1-goal lead by retreating into your box without an outball. Keep inviting pressure, and Bournemouth-type endings are going to keep happening. And City? The next 2 weeks are about margin. Against bottom-half sides, they're not just 3-point hunting. They're put-you-away-by-70 hunting. Haaland finishing late isn't a footnote. It's the cue that your legs are heavier and your focus is going before the whistle. That's how gaps become moats. Let me give you live tells. If you see those mid-table sides leave 1 extra runner high when the keeper has it, almost a lazy jog near halfway, that's a trap. They're daring your center back to play through the 6 so they can pounce and turn you into passes. And if you see the super clubs hammering early crosses from the byline instead of the cute cutback lane in the half space, that's the adjustment. They're trying to pull the back 4 apart before the block sets. City specific. If Haaland is getting 2 or 3 touches in the box in the first 20, expect the dam to break in the last 20. Those early touches aren't about scoring immediately. They're teaching your backline that every step is a threat. Fatigue starts as fear, then it becomes chaos. That's City's favorite soup. And don't underestimate the personnel ripple. In this climate, wing play by committee gets real. The wide man who whips early and tracks back stays on. The one who wants 3 extra touches sits. Midfield pairings become who can sprint recovery runs, not who can ping diagonals. If your 9 isn't occupying both center backs, he's giving way to someone who will. You'll see earlier subs. You'll see wingers swap sides just to change the crossing foot. Pragmatic, not pretty, and effective. The headline is simple, and I'm not backing off it. The middle of the league is up for these fights, and they're taking their points now, while City are quietly spinning away from the pack. Call it chaos if you want. I call it clarity. Palace showed a repeatable blueprint. Bournemouth showed resilience twice in a week. Brentford showed nerve and timing. City showed inevitability. So where are you on this? Just a spicy weekend, or do you see the same cracks I do? If you think I'm overreacting, tell me why. If you're with me, tell me who's the next heavyweight to get strangled by structure.